Here we have an equation where the variable x is an exponent. These are called exponential equations, and graphing them is a skill that we can get hold of pretty easily. So our plan is to put in numbers for x that are fairly easy to work with and get answers for y and graph them and see what the graph looks like. Let's start out with 0, which would give us 2 to the 0 for y, which is 1. So we have 0, 1, which looks like a y-intercept. Put in x equals 1, we get 2 to the first, which is 2. So now it looks kind of like a straight line going through 0, 1 with a slope of 1, but it's not. And it's because exponents can make things take off pretty quickly. Now when x is 2, we have 2 squared, which is 4. And we can see it's curving upwards. We'll try 3, although I'm doubtful about 3 because it's 2 to the third power. It's 4 times 2, which is 8. And 8 is going to be off the graph. It's going to be somewhere up here past where I put the arrow. So it's curving upwards pretty dramatically. What about negative 1? Well, that's 2 to the negative 1, and that's 1/2. So at negative 1, it's at 1/2. What about negative 2? Well, that's 2 to the negative 2. That's 1 on top of 2 to the positive 2. That's 1/4. So at negative 2, it's at 1/4. At negative 3, that's 2 to the negative 3 power for y. That's 1 over 2 to the third. That's 1/8. And so as we go out, it gets closer and closer and closer to the x-axis and never quite touches it. That's another hallmark of exponential functions. On one side, it approaches something. On the other side, it shoots up really, really fast. Now, what would happen if we had y equals 2 to the x minus 3? What's going to happen is all of these values over here in y are going to be the same as they were here, but we're just going to have them 3 smaller. So every single point is 3 smaller. So this one was 4 high, now it will be 1 high. This one was 2 high, now it will be negative 1 high. This one was at 1, now it will be at negative 2. Every single point gets adjusted down 1. If instead of that we had graphed this, what do you think would happen there? Well, this would shift the entire graph 2 to the left. Because negative 2 makes this exponent 0, and that would shift this thing 2 to the left. So this gives you a little bit of an idea about how exponential functions work. Let's graph these on decimals and see what happens. So let's look at our graph of y equals 2 to the x. It's in red here. It's pretty much what we thought it was going to be. To the left, it gets closer and closer to the x-axis, but never touches it. To the right, it shoots up pretty large. Now what about this second one where we subtract 3 from what the y value equals? Well, when you subtract 3 from what the y value equals, your whole graph goes down 1. Now, it looks a little weird. It at first looks like your graph isn't going down 1 everywhere. It looks like it goes down a lot on the left and not very much on the right, but that's because it's so steep over here. The actual distance from here to here is kind of the same as the actual distance from here to here. It's sort of an optical illusion, but this purple graph is moved down 3 at every single point on the red graph. If you go down 3, you get to a point on the purple graph. It might help if I do this, and you can see that, for instance, from the point 2,4 down to the point 2,1, that's a distance of 3. And so it really is true that the purple is 3 lower, and that's an important thing. Now what about when you do the x plus 2 as the exponent of the exponential function? Well, I think it'll move everything 2 to the left. Let's see what happens. And you can see everything is moved 2 to the left. Here at the point 2, 4, it's pretty obvious that you move 2 to the left to get to the green. But down here, it's a little less obvious. If you pick one of these points and carefully go to the left, you'll see that it's still 2 to the left. So this gives you an idea how you can deal with exponential quantity. What happens if you have a fraction for a base on your exponential function, a fraction that's in between 0 and 1 in value? Well, we could do our set of points again. We could put in x equals 0, and we get 1/2 to the 0 power, which is 1. So we have 0, 1 once again. We could put in x equals 1. We get 1/2 to the first power, which is 1/2. We could put in 2, but we get 1/2 to the second power, which is 1/4. Do you kind of get the feeling that this happened before, but it happened on the other side? That's a pretty good feeling, because it's true. So here we get 1/2 to the -1, which is the reciprocal of 1/2, which is 2. So -1, we have 2. We'll do one more. We put in -2. Get 1/2 to the -2nd power, and that is the reciprocal of 1/2 squared. And that's 4. And so this is kind of the same graph that we had before, but it switches sides. It kind of, what used to go down here and then come up here like this, now is going down to the right and coming up to the left. Let's go to Desmos and see what that looks like. So, what happens if we just take this one and fix it up a little bit? Let's do parentheses, 1 divided by 2 into parentheses. Let's move over and let's do 2bx. Let's get rid of this one and let's put this one in here. So you can see I have 1/2 to the x power. The extra parentheses around the 2 are unnecessary, but I didn't move them. And you can see that they're kind of symmetric with respect to the y-axis. They're kind of the same sort of graph. So this kind of exponential function isn't really all that different than the one we did previously. Lastly, what happens if we switch x and y? Well, if we switch x and y, in essence, we're kind of getting an inverse. That's the hallmark of inverse functions, is to switch x and y. And so let's just make a radical guess. This guess could be wrong. It could be. But here's the line y equals x. And our functions, like y equals 2 to the x that we've just worked on, they come down here and approach this way. And then they come over here and shoot up this way. So if this function really is the inverse of this one, if switching the x's and y's make them inverses, then what ought to happen here is that we ought to go through this point, 1, 0, and we ought to come down here, get closer and closer to this axis, and then this one ought to shoot off like this. In other words, there ought to be symmetry between this and this around the line y equals x. So let's put in some points and find out if that's true. If we put in y equals 0, we get 2 to the 0, or 1 for x, and there's our point, 1, 0. That feels pretty good. Let's put in 1 for y, and we'll get 2 to the first for x, and that's 2. So x equals 2, y equals 1, instead of x equals 1, y equals 2. If you keep doing this, and I'm not going to do it for you, but if you keep doing it, you'll get these. So let's go to Desmos and try that out. So we have our y equals 2 to the x exponential function. That's kind of the first one I showed you. That's the one you sort of imprinted on, most likely. And then we have our line y equals x, that kind of 45-degree line that goes through 0, 0. And we know that if this new function we're looking at, x equals 2 to the y power, if in fact it's an inverse of y equals 2 to the x, it'll be down here so that there's symmetry about this line, y equals x. And we click on it, and we find out, yeah, it's very, very, very symmetrical. So this first one and this last one are reciprocals of each other, sort of. They're inverses of each other, actually.